Okay, this lesson is 1.1D, absolute value with integers. And if you remember, integers are positive and negative whole numbers, okay, meaning that we do not have any fractions or decimals yet. And what does absolute value mean? Well, absolute value is the distance from 0 on a number line. So let's write that in here. The distance from 0 on a number line. Now, everybody seems to know that when you take the absolute value of a number, if it was negative, it seems to magically become positive. Everybody seems to know it makes numbers positive, but they don't necessarily know the reason why, and it comes down to distance. It's because we don't ever talk about distance as being negative. Maybe as like a little simple example, let's say we have our north, south, east, and northeast, south, and west, like a little compass rose here. And let's say I live right here in the center, like that's me. And we could say that the school is up here and it is north of me, and then we could say the park is south of me. Now what if I said that north, because we're going up, I would say maybe that north would mean positive, and maybe south could represent negative because I'm going down for just the sake of fun. Now let's say that the school, here's me in the middle again, is 10 miles north. Now would I say that it's 10 positive miles? No, or is it just 10 miles from me? Let's think about that. Now if I said the park is 10 miles south, am I saying that the park is negative 10 miles from me just because it's south? Do we say negative 10 miles just because it's a different direction? No, they're both 10 miles away. So when it comes to distance, it doesn't make sense to use positive and negatives because everything in distance is positive. We just tend to give it directions. And that's what's happening on the number line. Negative numbers mean that we are left of 0. That left is a direction. Positive numbers are right of 0. And so that positive was a direction as well. So that's why, anyways, numbers, when they come out of absolute value, they become positive because they're showing the distance from 0. And we'll show that with our number lines here. Now our notation here, we would say that we have absolute value bars and x inside. This would be read the absolute value of x. So on numbers 21 through 26, we are supposed to simplify each expression, evaluate it. And what we're doing really is showing how far away these numbers are from 0. So if I take the absolute value of 7, again, the answer is positive 7 still, but why? We're asking, okay, here, look at this little number line I have next to it. We're asking how far away is this 7 from 0 on the number line? So if we count backwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it is 7 units away. So that's why it stays positive 7, because 7 is 7 units away. Now let's look at negative 20. Okay, I've labeled this number line down here. We want to know what is the absolute value of negative 20. In other words, how far away is negative 20? Oops, didn't want to do that. How far away is negative 20 from 0 on the number line? So we'll start here at negative 20, and we're going to count back to 0 every space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, from here to here, it was 20 spaces. So that's why it comes out as positive 20. It's a distance of 20 from 0 on the number line. And again, that negative just meant it was 20 spaces left of 0. So moving on with number 23, how far away is negative 4 from 0 on the number line? It's 1, 2, 3, 4 units. So that's why it comes out as positive 4. So 24, how far away is positive 18 from 0 on the number line? Well, we go 0 to 18 is 18 spaces. It's going to stay positive. Same thing. 25, how far away is the number 35 from 0 on the number line? It's positive 35 spaces away. 26, how far away is negative 11 from 0 on the number line? So here's negative 11, here's 0, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, spaces from 0 on the number line. So again, absolute value represents distance. That's why we take the negatives off. Okay, on 25 through 34, we are working with addition and subtraction and absolute value signs together. So sometimes we are going to have to take absolute value first and then combine some integers. Sometimes we're going to be asked to do some combining addition and subtraction and then take the absolute value. It just comes down to how our numbers are arranged with those absolute value brackets. So on 25, I've got the absolute value of 13. We're supposed to take that first and then add that to the absolute value of 15. So the absolute value of negative 13 is positive 13. We're adding that to the absolute value of 15, which is still 15, and then we're allowed to add these two positive numbers together, which comes out to 28. Now 26, do we see how we have the absolute value of 23 plus 15? 23 and 15 are both inside the absolute value bars, so we're actually supposed to add 23 and 15 together first. Okay, so that means they still have their absolute value bars, and that would be 38. And then we take the absolute value of positive 38, meaning how far away is 38 from 0? Well, it is 38 units, and we do that second. Okay, then we move on, and we have 27. We have the absolute value of 21 minus 8. And again, that 21 minus 8 is inside, so we're supposed to subtract first. 21 minus 8 is 13. So this is asking us to find the absolute value of positive 13, which stays 13, because 13 is 13 units away from 0 on the number line. Okay, 28 looks a little bit different. Okay, look, we have the absolute value of 24, and it's the only thing inside there, so we can take the absolute value of 24, which is 24. And then I have this minus sign, and what are we subtracting? We're subtracting the absolute value of negative 17, which this comes out as positive 17. But we still have this minus sign here because that was the sign in between the two absolute value bars. So what is 24 minus 17? It is 7. Okay, a little bit different. 29, I have the absolute value of negative 3 plus the absolute value of negative 5. Okay, we need to take the absolute value of negative 3 first, which will be positive 3. Keep that plus sign in between, and we're taking the absolute value of negative 5. How far away is negative 5 from 0? 5 spaces. All right, we drop the bars because we've already taken absolute value, and this is equal to 8. Okay, number 30, I have absolute value of negative 11. Well, this is going to come out as positive 11. Then minus right here, then the absolute value of negative 6, which comes out as positive 6. But can we see that we still have a minus sign in between them because that was what was in between the two sets of absolute value. So we have really 11 minus 6, which is 5. Okay, just 4 more problems. Okay, we have negative 7 minus 6 both inside the absolute value bars. That means we need to have that subtraction take place first. If we typed into our calculator negative 7 minus 16, we get negative 23. So this is asking us to find the absolute value of negative 23 because we had to put these two together first and then take absolute value. And that is positive 23. Okay, 32. We have the absolute value of 4, which is 4. Take away, keep that minus sign, the absolute value of negative 4, which is 4. Okay, but it's still going to have that minus sign from the outside. So we're doing 4 minus 4 to get 0. Number 33. Hey, looking inside the bars, everything is inside the absolute value bars. We have the absolute value of negative 14 minus negative 1. That was a previous lesson we had where we learned that two negatives, like when we subtract a negative, it really means to add. So this means do negative 14 plus 1 and then take the absolute value. We have to add these together first. So negative 14 plus 1 is negative 13, and the absolute value of negative 13 is positive 13. And then one last problem, number 34. We have 5 minus negative 8. Remember, minusing a negative turns it into addition. So we're going to do 5 plus 8. So this is absolute value of 13, which is also 13. So anyways, that's what it comes down to. Absolute value is the distance from 0 on a number line, which is why it seems to magically turn things positive. Not magic, just distance.